this is Ashley from Essentials Academy again. Today's video is going to be over preparing your kit for State Board. Don't forget that on the NIC website there is a list of all the supplies that you will need. The first thing that you're going to need is a dry storage container for your supplies. You can use a tub like this one. You can use a rolly suitcase or even like a duffel bag, whatever you feel most comfortable with. It is something you need to be able to easily get in and out of. As a rule of thumb, remember that your kit needs to be closed at all times unless you're getting into it. So I would make sure that it's something you can easily open and close. You will need mannequin heads. You can choose to have 1 or 2 mannequin heads. I suggest taking 2 only because I would have one designated just for hair cutting. That way if you get nervous and you mess up on your haircut, you don't have to struggle with an uneven haircut through the rest of your examination. As we go through this, we're going to go step by step in order of how you will do everything for State Board. The first section we're going to do is called your general setup. As we go through this, you will notice that each of our sections have their own little designated bag. This is so that when you get to this section, you grab this bag and then everything you need is in it and you don't have to worry about forgetting anything. For general setup, you will start with paper towels and sanitizer. Your sanitizer needs to be bactericidal, virucidal, and fungicidal. This is to wipe down your workstation before you begin so that it is clean. Also make sure that your disinfectant, sanitizer, whichever, is EPA registered. For your general setup, you should have a bag that is labeled general supplies. These are supplies that you may use throughout the whole thing and that you can have sitting out the whole time so you can reach them. Inside there, you will want a towel. The towel is to be placed in between the table and your clamp, so you'll want a mannequin clamp. Also, you will want cholesterol. You can use cholesterol or gel. This is going to be used as your simulated lotion for different sections of it. We have some cotton in here. Hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer is important. Also remember, they don't want to see any labels on things. So anything that has a label, cover it and label it. Everything should be labeled through this. Hand sanitizer. And I would suggest, just an FYI, to get one that you're pumping. Because if you're having to take the lid off of something and squeezing it, it's going to take more time and make it a little harder. So a pump one is the easiest. We have extra gloves in here, extra clippies. You will want protective cream. For protective cream, you can use Vaseline, petroleum jelly, either one. It's just to protect around the hairline and stuff. You will also need spatulas. The spatulas are to take out your cholesterol or your protective cream. You don't want to be dipping your fingers in there because that goes against all sanitation. You will need a water bottle. On your water bottles, even make sure that they are labeled that it is water, H2O, whichever. We also have extra combs, clips in here just in case you drop some. And like I said, this stuff can be setting out the whole time. Just make sure that you keep it closed. Then you will also have a first aid kit and a blood spill kit. For those of you that do not know, your blood spill kit should contain 2 baggies labeled biohazard, gloves, and a Band-Aid. You will also have the easy 2 things, one for dirty implements and one for trash. The easiest thing for these is if you get gift bags and you put little bags in them and they have to be labeled too, saying dirty implements and trash. You will also need capes. Your capes, it is recommended if you use child size because it stays on your mannequin head easiest. It's not a requirement, you don't have to use them, but we do recommend them. For Missouri State Board, you can also use just 1 cape if you choose throughout this same one, or you can choose to use 2. I like to use 2 of them just because if I don't get the hair cleaned up, it's easier to just get rid of a cape than try to clean all the hair up. You will also need a smock that you yourself will have to be wearing. The smock you should put on in the very beginning when you start setting up. We are now going to go on to the next section of this, which is thermal curling. So we have our bag here that is labeled thermal curling. Inside of it is everything that we need. We have our curling iron, a towel. This towel is so that you can put it around your mannequin's head with the cape, because you want to make sure that cape is never touching your mannequin's head. You always want a towel in between. We have this was a neck wrap. This is to test the temperature of your iron. And then we have combs. And in each of these sections you will see that in most of them there is an extra comb, just because you can never be too prepared, and if you're like me, you may drop 500 combs. And these are designed so that when I am done, let's say I've just done thermal curling, having them in these bags makes it easier, because when I go to get rid of everything that I've already used, goes in either dirty implements or into trash. There's nothing that I have to take and put back into our kit. It just makes it so much easier and faster. So after thermal curling, you go into hair cutting. So our hair cutting bag. In hair cutting, I have more towels. These are just extra for if I decide to recape. We have combs, clippies so I can section it, and then shears and a razor. You can also choose to, and I don't have it in here, but you can choose to put a trash bag on the floor if you wish, so that when you're cutting, everything falls onto the trash bag. But if you don't feel that you want to do it, that is fine. They do have brooms there to help you sweep. The next section after hair cutting is chemical waving. In chemical waving, you will need, once again, I have extra towels for if I decide to recape, and because, remember, when you get into chemical waving, it is chemical. So you should have a towel on the inside and the outside of your cape. I have cotton, because you will have to apply simulated waving motion. I have clippies to section it. Perm rods, because you will roll that whole back section. End papers. Combs. And then a bottle for simulated waving solution. In this waving solution, you will apply water to test it. This is also where you would get into your general supplies and use your protective cream. After chemical waving, you get into the next section is virgin lightener and color retouch. And here I also have extra towels. As you can see, in most of these sections I have extras of everything. That way if I drop or if I discover that I need something, I have it in there. You're going to need a bowl, a brush. You need 4 clips, because at the beginning of this you will have to section the hair into 4 sections. And gloves. Then after virgin lightener and color retouch, we move into virgin relaxer and relaxer retouch. Again, my bag that's labeled, everything is in here. You will need, again, gloves, a bowl, a brush. I have an extra towel. You will need, I have gloves, and combs. We do not need clips in this section because for this you section for everything in the beginning of the virgin lightener, so the hair is already sectioned when we move into this. And then the next section we have is the manicure section. In manicuring, you will need a manicure bowl. You will need towels. For your towels, you have to have one placed on the table for your mannequin hand, which we should have a mannequin hand. And then